Are you involved in all with the thing with governors and everything going on there? Do you know anything about that club?
Yeah, I mean, I know like what's going on. I went to the protest, but it turned out to be like a
I always think it's funny that a bunch of comedians who it's not our fault, but in our nature is to be self-centered and self-serving.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I'm sure all the protest signs also had their Twitter handles on it.
Surprisingly, no, but I will say that it was a lot of like. So to me, like Governor Cuomo, like this is a mistake on his part, but I think he did like a pretty good job up until now. Like our numbers were awful, and like now our numbers are the best. So it was like, so a lot of people were like, oh, Governor Cuomo's a clown, and get the Democrats out of the house, and it's like, well, not. I disagree with most of that, but yes, open the comedy club.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, I don't know who's doing a good job. I've never handled a pandemic myself. I don't know who can handle it well. It doesn't matter who's sitting in any chair. If you're Republican, Democrat, stop judging people on a thing that's never happened before. But at the same time, if you can stand outside and protesting, we can go into a comedy club so all people like us who shouldn't be allowed to have this much free time because we're very annoying on social media, put us in comedy clubs. Let us vent there because we're pretending we're scientists now. We're pretending that we know law. We're pretending like we don't know anything, but we're talking a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And we're grooming people. Some of the West Coast comics, get them back in clubs because they are predatory. Like I don't know what's happening, but if they aren't sitting in the Comedy Store, they're gonna get you. Like,
they're gonna get you.
Put them on a stage. What happened to them? They were supposed to be like the nicer, like the yoga doing ones. We were supposed to be the hardcore ones.
The D'Elia thing, man. That
Kalen, I could see coming. I met him once, and I was not that he was like that, but he was intense.
Like when I found out the thing about D'Elia, I was like, all right, that checks out, but like it's like it sucks, man. Like
I was happy that I've never liked him, and then I've always been vocal and said I've never found him funny. So at least when it happened, I'm like, see, he sucks as a person too, but because I never found him funny, and I hate when someone goes, somebody suck. If you're famous, if anyone's putting any money into you, they don't suck. They might not be your cup of tea.
It's not for me, right?
They're obviously down. But I would watch him and go, there's no punchline. Like, there's no punchline. He just does his head.
I happen to like him, but I liked him. I would say.
That's it. And then the people's eyebrow. That's
I will say that when I first liked him, I was like, I shouldn't like on paper, I don't like this kind of stuff.
Right.
But for some reason, I liked him.
I was that way with Dane Cook. When Dane Cook first came out and his Comedy Central special came out with the acid he spit and all the movement, I'm like, I don't usually like this. I fucking like this. And then,
I think it's similar guys.
The half circle thing happened. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. Then I didn't like it at all. But when he first came out, I liked the energy. I liked because everybody was just being Louis then. And then at that point, and then he was going away from that and going back to physical. And I'm like, oh, I like that he's doing something different.
Yeah.
But yeah, D'Elia, and it didn't help that when he did the Justin Bieber roast, it's because Justin Bieber said out loud, Chris D'Elia is my favorite comedian. I'm like, that's not the knighting you want. I mean, it's young girls who like Bieber aren't going to go to comedy shows. That's even D'Elia had to be like, God damn it. Maybe now, because that was 10 years ago.
But it turns out D'Elia likes that fan base.
Yeah, now we know why. That's it. Like he was like one of the first ones to be on Vine and stuff. He was really doing some good research. That's what he was doing. He was just learning how to hit on them.
Doing research.
Grooming. Listen, I give him credit, I guess, because as a comic, I'm so focused on me and writing my job. I could never think about someone else. I can't remember my nephews and nieces' birthdays. I couldn't remember some girl when she turns 18 and to count it down and say, here you go.
Yo, so I'm from a music scene here where like one of our guys like got nailed bad for that stuff. So like
That's more. I'm not saying it's right, but it is a rock and roll thing. It's not a comedy thing.
Super rock and roll. Yeah,
Super rock and roll
rock
thing.
and
Mick
roll.
Jagger, the Stones did that nonstop.
Yeah.
That is a rock and roll thing. It's like, oh, I didn't know her age, Gub. Nah, I was just trying to have a Willie put in her. You know, like they're all excited. But like a comic doing that, it's like, stop. First
But
of all,
he's like a rock star. He's like he wants to be that, like, he's got that bravado, you know.
yeah, he has that Russell Brandish type thing where it's just like, you're not. I never looked at him as a comic. I'm like, he's just a good-looking guy who uses the stage, but was more about being an actor than he's playing.
Right, he's a good-looking actor, and he happens to be funny.
Right.
But
like, yeah, he obviously has a great sense of humor, and he understands his audience more than most people. I mean, he really understood who his audience was and spoke to them, and he had a language he spoke to them in. You and I can't do that because we're still trying to grow what is us. We're not like names where we can do that. He, from the beginning, understood there's certain guys, like, that's more of a West Coast thing too, like Theo Vaughn, guys like that, who are like, this is my window, and you're either going to be in it, but outside that world, you're not going to get it. I think if you're an East Coast person, you've got to be more universal because you've got more people, especially in New York, more people all over the world coming to you.
Yeah, dude. There's so, like, we're performing in front of so many, because like Long Island and Connecticut kind of feel like road rooms, but then New York and Brooklyn are like these woke rooms. So it's like we're constantly like I'm constantly switching gears. So it's like I just gotta be universal. Like I just gotta be like woken up for universal.
Those rooms. You have to own who you are, so they don't think you're pandering to them. But at the same time, you can't be so horse blinded that you lose someone else. Because I watch some comics going, well, I'm going to go hard and say I hate Trump, or I'm going to go hard and say I love Trump. It's like, don't even bring it up. Right now, I don't know what you're doing. Unless it's really what your act is, even if you do it by mistake, it's just a slip, at this point, you're going to push people's arms back. Yeah. They're going to untrust you. Just let it go. Unless it's who your act is. But if not, just be you. Because right now, I don't know how many shows you've been on, but audiences are being cool, but they're not 100% trusting. Not of us, just of the whole ambiance, the space. So they're kind of like, I think I can laugh. That's happened. What? It's like weird.
They're getting conflicting things. Like every day, we're getting like mask, no mask. Do this, don't do this. It's airborne. It's not airborne. It's super airborne. Right. Today, it's like it's only airborne now.
Only grandparents die. Kids can't go to school. It's like, what? Which one is it? Like, my kids are starting school on Friday, kind of. Like, they're going to go 2 days a week, and it's rotating by alphabetical order. So, like, and, my kids, a lot of their friends they weren't born with the same alphabetical order names. So now they don't get to be with their friends on 2 days, and they have to be home, on the computer for 3 days, and they have to check in and be there the whole time. And that's the way they're going to do it, to have less people in the schools. And it's going to be a weird time 5 years from, if this all gets, I'm not going to say it's going to be better, but when it kind of like goes away, whatever the new normal is, there's going to be a lot of kids from like I'd say 12 to about 18 to 20-year-old range that are going to not be able to trust this world for the rest of their lives. This is a weird freaking time for that development of a mind. Like, remember when we had to go to school and it was like we couldn't graduate, we couldn't have this, there was a year where we couldn't do any of the things we're supposed to do. Everything we looked forward to, everything we took all that shit for, we can't do. You know what I mean? It's going to be really weird.
Do you think that we're going to, like, always do the social distancing now, like from now on?
I don't think we're always going to do it, but I think more people, business-wise, a lot of people realize what we're doing right now is cheaper, easier, and now they don't have to pay a lot of rent. I think more business, a lot of jobs are going to be eliminated. And I think, therefore, the new jobs will be doing it like this. So, therefore, what's the better way to teach a kid how to do this is by schooling like this. You went to school. School started in the 20s. They were made to teach us how to go to factories with bells ringing and getting up and moving around and being there early and doing all that. That's not what we do for work anymore. We do more computer things. We do more video conferencing and things like that. So how do you teach them how to be that way? You have them do this from school. So I can see teachers being eliminated. It's really is going to be people monitor. I mean, people will teach, but they'll do it through this. It'll be a different kind of teaching. that hands-on teacher will be over. I think there will be people that will have phobia. There'll be people that will be afraid. There'll be a lot of, we'll look like China did 5 years ago when they were just wearing masks. We're like, why are they wearing masks?
All the time,
We'll just be wearing masks. And the ones that don't are going to start. I already know some people that are just so against it. Like, I don't care either way. My rule is if it helps me get food, then I wear a mask. Like, if you tell me, like, I have to wear that mask to get a burrito, then I'm putting the mask on to get the burrito. Like, that's I'll do. Like, that if whatever gets me things, I'll do it. I treat it like shoes. If I go to your house and you're like, hey, Pat, in our house, you take your shoes off. Then I take my shoes off. I do what makes other people comfortable. Now, I don't have a stance either way about it. I have friends who don't wear masks at all, and they are already crazy, screaming, yelling, thinking everyone else is nuts. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have to be your personality. Calm the fuck down. Live your life, and maybe people won't notice it. It's just they've gotten too crazy with it, and those people are never going to come back. They're going to be the crazy. They're the new Vietnam War vet. They're the new I don't wear a mask motherfucker. And they're going to start yelling at everybody.
Yeah, if it's, yeah, I mean, if they say, like, with the mask, they're saying, like, well, we're just gonna wear the masks until it's over or whatever, until COVID is over. Yeah, then it's like, all right, I mean, I'll do what everyone's asking me to do, but then don't tell me it's like, don't then tell me it's permanent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know what they're ever going to tell. Listen, you could tell me tomorrow we don't need masks anymore, and I just wouldn't wear a mask tomorrow. I'm that way. I don't know anything, so I'm just going to go with what they're telling me. I don't know shit, and I don't care. Like, I really don't. I'm so don't care about COVID, and I know I'm supposed to, but it's against the comedy selfish thing. My family's healthy. That's a selfish thing, but I've been healthy. I've actually gotten in even better shape than I've ever been during this. I've had enough personal things going on where I haven't even noticed there was a quarantine. I'm like, all right. So it's like I've just been more focused on I lost all my comedy work. I lost my radio stuff. I had to take a part-time job at a retail store. So I'm working like crazy things I never wanted to do. So I don't give a fuck if I wear a mask, don't wear a mask, whatever you tell me. But there are a lot of people in this world that even when they're told they don't have to wear masks anymore, are still going to wear masks. Like, there's no way they don't. There's no way they don't.
For sure.
It's scary. And that's the thing. When I go to the comedy club, I've been performing at comics, and we're inside Mohegan Sun, and a lot of people wearing masks. They have to all wear it inside. The thing you don't know, the thing that's nice for someone like me, I don't smoke, is you can't smoke in there. Because you can't take the mask off the smoke. You have to actually, they allow you to, they show you where the door is. You can go outside to the certain areas, so you can go out there and smoke if you have to, but there's less smoking inside the place, of course. At the comedy club itself, you don't have to be on the stage with a mask. You can be in the green room with a mask, but only you and one other person can be in the, like, if the host is there and you're getting ready to go up, it's just you two. Anyone else on the show, like if they do the contest or whatever, have to sit in the way back. And you can wear a mask if you're standing up, but you can't. You don't have to wear a mask if you're sitting down or you're eating, because I don't know if you know this, mozzarella sticks can always knock away COVID. I didn't know that, but it's an amazing ability to slap away COVID.
If you order a sandwich, you can
You're
do whatever
cured.
you want.
If you're always eating, you'll never die, which is weird because some people think it started with soup. So it's kind of odd how it started with soup, but it can be diffused with soup.
Listen, I am living proof that if you are constantly eating, they can't kill you.
You don't have COVID, right? Exactly. There it is. But people in the audience, most of them won't wear masks, but some of them still are. Like, they're in the audience, they're told they don't have to, but they're still wearing it. And that's a weird thing when you can see their head shaking from the laughter, but you can't see the smile. And it's like that energy that I always loved, that's kind of gone. And even when you get them really rolling, they coil back in now. You have to continuously build momentum because they're in constant. There's something in the back of their mind saying, "Am I supposed to be here?" You can see it.
Yes, there's like there's like an energy thing right now, but I think it's like what you said. Like it's just like we're all still questioning what's happening. But I will say that I did some Brooklyn backyard show recently. Last weekend, and even with the masks, like you could feel the warmth, you know what I mean? Like you could feel like they were enjoying themselves, and it was It felt good, man. It felt
I
good.
did one 2 weekends ago. It was just for like 25 people. A buddy of mine is a comic. He also plays softball. One of the softball guys was like, me and my friends want to do something cool in my backyard. It'll be like 25 of us. People donated money. It was really nice to do it. I had two other comics do it. They each did like 10 minutes each. Of course, I did 45 because like, why not in a backyard? And it was fun doing crowd work and joking with them, and they were so into it. No masks on, but they distanced their seats from themselves, and they were in a backyard having fun. That is cool, but it's I have a show supposed to be happening this Saturday, like a secret show, and now it's supposed to rain, and it's like I haven't had to worry about a rain out in comedy ever, and that's a new weird thing. Like, do I not? I need money, and now I'm worried about weather.
Is it raining Saturday?
Saturday in Connecticut it's supposed to be bad.
I wonder if it's here. It's gonna be bad because I have an outdoor show too Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm on this killer. It's one with all like the compound group. So it's like me, Chrissy Mayer, Pat Dixon, Kevin Downey Jr.'s on it, and Larry Bia, all in some dude's backyard. It's like gonna be a fucking great time, and I need the money too. And then I've got comics on Sunday, and I was like, ooh, wow. 2 shows in a weekend. Are we back to the new normal? But then of course the next 2 weekends I have nothing. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that's it. I did a backyard show on Saturday, and it was 2 shows. It was like a 7 and a 9, and like hanging out in between shows and like with the other comics. It was like, it feels good. Like we're back.
That's the best part of it. During this COVID thing, and I've been doing all these podcasts like this. These 2 guys I know have a music podcast in Connecticut, and they asked me to be on the show, and I was like, sure. When is it? And I'm like, they're like, oh, 7 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I should be home by then. I'll be, what's the Zoom link? And they're like, oh no, we'll come pick you up. I'm like, wait, what? Like, yeah, we're doing it at our apartment. I go, wait. People? And this is like in July. I'm like, oh shit. And a couple other comics came to hang. So I got to hang out with like 5 comics, and that was the first time in a while. And it was nice. And I didn't even really like those people in the first place, but like it was still nice to see people. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, now we're friends.
Yeah, that was like a weird thing about this too. It's like right when like people started like getting together again, like a few comics were like, hey, we're gonna have a thing in my backyard. Like, we'll have a mic and a speaker in case we want to, like, do an open mic, but I have a nice backyard, and we're just going to hang out. And it was like, yeah, cool. And, like, I went and I hung out with comics that I don't normally hang out with, like a different crew. And it was just, like, it felt good, like, just being around.
Other addicts. That's what it is. No, but that's really what it is. People don't understand what happened when we couldn't perform. Like, it's an outlet for a lot of us. Yes, it's a way we make money. Yes, it's an art form that we love and all that. It's a passion and everything. But it really is an outlet. We all joke saying it's our therapy, but in a way it really is. It's our minds work in a different way. We can't just tell people our queer thoughts and observations all the time because they're freaked out. I'm working at a freaking Big Lots, and people are like, what the hell did you just say to me? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. That's how I haven't had a boss in 8 years, and now I have to have. It's odd.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, I'm not suited to work for people. Like, I haven't done it in so long. Like, I don't know that I could do. Like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I don't know if I could take someone seriously. Him being like, like saying something like, "Oh, it's really important that we get the corn nuts up." I'd be like, "It's the not important at all to anyone."
The least important thing of all times. Like, the simple fact that there's a corn nut salesman hoping I do this is hilarious to me. That there's a man whose whole life is based on corn nuts, and if the corn nuts don't get sold, his kids don't eat, is fucking hysterical. I'm sorry, but that's his life. It's corn nuts.
I can't.
I mean, the only bosses I have had are comedy clubs because I ran 2 of them. I managed them both. So even that, it was comedy. So even that thing was still the passion I had. It was still in the same wheelhouse. I had a reason to be there. When I'm working now, and I've said this, I said, I love this job because I don't have to think. And like, you can stop saying that. Like, no. I'm saying it out loud to you. This job is for mental people, and a lot of them do work there. And I work a little bit better than special needs people. And that's all. And I shine. I freaking shine because of it. They're like, look at this guy. He doesn't have to be told what to do twice. Like, of course you don't. Give me a bunch of things to put away, and I'll put them away. But my act now is 30 minutes on being in a retail store during this. And it's been tons of new material. It's been wonderful. I get to observe humans again.
And in Connecticut, is it mask mandatory at stores or no?
Yes. It's mask mandatory in stores. They're cautioned in how they say it. It's not a law, but you're required to wear the mask, and the store can refuse you. You can fight it and argue it and do that whole stink, and then eventually they can let you in without it. But the stores get nervous about it because then the people that are afraid are like, oh, someone without a mask, and then they don't want to shop there. So it's a weird thing. All employees have to. I have to wear a mask when I'm working, but the second I go like into the back of the part of the warehouse and the door closed, I can take it off. Like I can take it off whenever I'm not around people. If we open at 9 and I'm there at 7 or in the morning getting things off the truck and stuff, I don't have to wear it then. So it's weird. It's more. I think most businesses are doing it to make the customers comfortable. They don't really care about it. But and also the other customers, and then some employees are afraid of that. But like, I've been around a ton of people. I've been out and about and doing whatever, and never felt better or healthier in my life than right now, which is very weird.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, but I'm running every day, and I see other people out there now. But in the beginning, when I was running, it was weird. It was like I Am Legend, and then a family of 18 Puerto Ricans all walking their dogs, 18 dogs. They each had a dog. And it would just be groups of them all walking, blocking where I'm trying to run, and then getting mad at me that I was running without a mask. I'm like, wait, running with a mask? Why would I wear a mask while I run? I would have a heart attack. Like, you can't do. But now I see people walking with masks, and like, all right, we should have had a masks TED Talk. I don't know why there wasn't one.
But
someone should have taught people what to do with these things.
But like, so Kathleen and I went to Brooklyn the other day for these shows. And we got out of the car, and she was like, "Oh, people are wearing masks." And it's like, yeah, well, like you're close together socially. Like a lot of people are on the sidewalk. So yeah, like I understand the idea of wearing a mask, but like on Long Island, like or in the rural Connecticut, wherever you are, like if you're going for a jog, like, oh, why do I have to wear a mask? I'm like, I'm breezing by people.
Right.
I'm not standing and talking and spitting in each other's mouths, but fucking blowing by you.
If I'm on a boardwalk somewhere and there's a ton of people, which it really hasn't been, but that's starting to be, and we're all walking there, I can understand if I see someone with a mask on. But if you're going for like a walk on a trail and it's all spaced out and you're just passing by, I don't know how the thing works, but I don't think I can run by and shoot it at you.
Yeah, you can.
I don't have it. I don't. I also saw a couple at comics. A guy was trying to like make out with the girl, but he had the mask on. And the girl didn't have the mask on, but he was kind of like moving it and like in sitting, you know, when you like right on stage, like to the right, like those first couches, like they were on the couches, like right there in my face, making out while I'm telling jokes. And I stopped. And of course I just watched, and then the audience kind of watched with me. And then the guy's like, what? And I'm like, well, my bad. I didn't mean to break up your makeout session during my dreams. I'm sorry. And then I was like, do you wear condoms? And he's like, what? And I go, do you wear condoms? He's like, nah, man. I'm like, so the only protection you care about is the mask. Like it's a weird choice, dude. I don't know. It's an odd thing, but I just think it's going to be in people's heads forever. And I just hope that it's not, because I hope comedy's not. It's not going to be over for us. But if you're not a huge name, or you're not someone who's very in with a club. I mean, think about it. Most clubs aren't doing 3 people shows; they're doing 2 people shows. Most clubs aren't doing. They're cutting things down, and like it's the world for the feature for the national headliner is kind of gone, because agents are still representing people, and if you don't have an agent, the agent's going to get the guy who started the headline and say, I'm going to have to middle you now, but I'll have you go with the headline and get them more work. And clubs are going to do that because they're going to take care of each other, because they're going to cut the price down for them because they know they have to, because it's going to be more about bonus deals because of the percentage of seats. So us trying to get opening work is going to be tough. So it's like we've got to develop something that gets our name out there, podcasts, you know, other things like that, to all of a sudden so we're worth a draw, which is going to be tough to convince anyone, because people are going to, no one has money. They'll give us gigs, but they'll give us half the freaking money we deserve because they don't have it. So I'm like, I don't think we're done, but I think the world, that part is going to take a long time to recover.
Well, we were being undervalued to begin with. So
you and I, everyone else too much. Take their money, give it to you and me. Everyone else was overvalued. Fuck them. Yeah, but if you think about this, when I tell people, they're like, oh, comedy. Like, believe me, I understand why people came, but there's many people you and I've opened for who weren't the hugest names, and there wasn't a draw. But the amount of money they were making doing 45 minutes and the amount of money you and I were making per show doing 25 to 30 minutes in front of them is hysterical when you think about it. Because, I think most people know this. A feature gig is what? Like, average, if you're doing more than one gig in a club, it's $100 sometimes. Yeah. Maybe 125 they're feeling frisky. I don't know. And then, the cheapest headliner, if he's doing a one night at a small club, the cheapest he's getting, if he's a newer guy, is $300 a show. But even that was rising up a little bit. But if you have any kind of name recognition, it's 4 figures. And it's like, you're doing 15 more minutes than me. But you're drawing, and if they do draw, then I get it. But they also get a percentage of the draw, and they get bonuses and things. It's like, it was already bad. That's why I thought some clubs were going to go, screw it. Let's headline the middles that can close shows. Let's see if we do less money. Let's see if we can push them. But they need a reason for people to come out. I get that too now. So now they're going to pull any names. I mean, I saw that one of the clubs had first weekend they were open was Carlos Mencia, and I'm like, that's a weird first draw. But like, they're like, people are going to remember the name. They're just reaching for stuff.
I feel like Mark Norman has been working the most.
Yeah.
Anywhere that didn't close, he was going.
Him, Dave Landau. There are certain guys that are taking that trip and going everywhere, and it's good that they can get the work. But it's just like, if you weren't in with those clubs before, they're not going to take that chance on you. Like, I wasn't working Florida, so I know Florida's wide open, but like they're going to work the people they know. The
2 clubs that I work in Florida aren't open.
I was talking with Chad Zumach on one of the podcasts I was on with him, and it's like, I think Side Splitters is the one he's doing, and there's somewhere else. But there's a couple that are doing it, but like Arizona, places like that. But Connecticut, now Stress Factory opened, but for a while it was just comics, and that's because they're inside a casino, so it wasn't like they had to turn their lights on. The lights were already on. Like, so, and it's weird there. Like, you've been there many times. The best part about doing a comedy show is what? Afterwards, when everyone walks up and tells you you're good. They're not allowed to do that now. Because you're not allowed to stand anywhere. The second the show's over, they have to leave. And even if they want to come back, they have to raise their hand, and then they can reserve a table, and then they can go to the table out in the bar. The bar is doing not as well, but the restaurant is doing much better than it ever did. So the waitresses are making a ton of money because people are sitting at tables and they're doing more turnover because they want to sit now. They can't get up and dance to the music of the bands. They can't stand around the bar. So there's none of that traffic. So that awesome feeling of after you did well and people going up and going, you were great, is gone. They can't do that there. And it's like, now Stress Factory opened up, they're doing like an outside thing. But most places, if you're a smaller independent building, you can't open up because it's going to cost you a lot of money just to turn the lights back on, just to get booze and food back in, to do all that stuff that you can't do it without making any money first. How do you open? Most small businesses, not even that, just like restaurant, anyone that was closed down for a while, it's going to cost a lot of money to open back up. And those places are done.
And then to find out, like in the case of Governors on Long Island, like to like spend all the money to open back up and then find out that you have to close again.
Right. Why was that? Was just because they're saying you can't go inside at all? What was the reason they were closed?
Well, now they're saying, or now the government, I guess, is saying that it's you can't have live events.
I know they were doing no live events outside, but they can't even do them if it's spaced right inside.
Yeah, but why would you not be able to do it outside?
Well, I know they stopped all those clubs from doing it in the park.
It's all ridiculous. Why?
I know. First of all, who wants to go to? I couldn't believe that many people were going to shows in the park. The poor comics, they couldn't even have microphones. They're just yelling. Like, it was so weird. But New York's fine because Jerry Seinfeld says so. That was a weird one. That was a weird one that he was fighting with the guy from Stand Up New York.
Yeah, I didn't see what he said. The guy from Stand Up New York's a jerk off.
Right. He said that Seinfeld's cold and callous. It's like, so are you, dude.
That guy's not a comic. He's not from New York. He's like, his opinion is nothing. That guy.
He's like Seinfeld took all these shots at me. Seinfeld said like, the place could use improvement. That's basically what he said. But okay, I get both sides of it. A guy who owns a business is not going to see New York as okay. He's going to see it as, oh my God, every day I had people. I didn't have to even advertise. People just walked in. I mean, that's the one thing about New York. People just walk on the street like, oh, comedy. We'll try something out. Oh, somebody could be here famous. We'll go there. Someone like Seinfeld, who is not going to be affected by this because he can still get all the things he needs to get in life. And he's still in New York, and still those places will still do things for him, even if they wouldn't do them for you and I. Yeah, New York's still fine. And I get it. I get that, I guess. But no, New York's not fine. If you look at the news, it's scary. It's scary in certain parts. When I talk to the guys doing Compound, they're like, it's a weird walk to the studio now. It's a weird shit. I haven't been there. Anything I've done with Compound, I've done through Zoom or Skype. But I'm hearing that it's not good in certain parts.
Where they are, it's fine. They're at Madison Square Garden. It's fine.
Right, but a lot of them don't live right there. So the ones that do it, they have to come from where they're living to get there. And they said that part's not a good time.
Oh, I don't know where they're living, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're just living outside in car. Gino Biscotti lives in a car. So
lives in a car?
Not really, but that's what he tells everyone. So
yeah.
But he obviously doesn't because he's on Instagram every day, not from a car.
He's fine driving to Compound then. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine there. I guess the car doesn't move. I guess he just goes. But I don't – that's the other thing too. It's like just like everything else in the world right now, everything's become so divided with this stuff. Jerry Seinfeld and an owner of a New York comedy club should not be arguing. Right now, it should be the unity of, hey, guys, support – Jerry should be like, hey, support New York. If you want New York to do well, go to every comedy club. Who cares? And then stand up New York should be like, yeah, Jerry Seinfeld says we're okay. Then trust this guy. Remember when you used to trust him in the 90s? Come on out. Like, that should be that thing. But we're all fighting about everything. Comedy should be like this. No, it should be like this. Don't do Zoom shows. Yes, do Zoom shows. Don't, do outside. Don't do outside. Do drive-ins. Who gives a fuck? And
then you got these guys who are like part-timers who are like, you can't do a show. It's you're a super spreader. You're gonna murder people. It's like, dude, the infection rate is like less than 1%, and then the people dying is like less than 1% of that. Like, the chances of me 12 feet away getting you're dying. Get the fuck you, dude.
I'd rather take the chance of getting COVID and watching you perform, Neil, than not getting COVID and watching one of those fucks do their time.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That would hurt me way more than the illness of COVID, is just having to hear their hack joke about masks. So many masks. I'm now at comics. My buddy Frank does that Bringer show on Thursdays at 10 o'clock, so I host that. And man, those guys, first of all, more power to them. They're all getting people to come out. Like, support is – I thought it wouldn't work. We're getting good crowds, and people are coming to the shows that are just in the casino anyway. So the non-bringer ratio is very good too. Like, I did 2 shows already with about 100 people each, and for the night like that on a Thursday 10 o'clock was pretty good. And
my contest show, it was packed.
Yeah. They're doing a good job with that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the staff's handling it well and all that, but some of these comics – I mean, I don't know if you're in your round, but when I hosted one of the rounds, 5 of the comics out of the 8 were like, this is my first time on stage since this. I'm like, oh my God. Like, how scary is that? Like, that'd be insane. Like, what are you doing here? They're like, well, I signed up because Ryan said if I didn't, I could never work there. Like, I think Ryan beat the shit out of them. And said, no, you got to, because he was telling me, he goes, these fuckers won't sign up. I'm like, Ryan, it is a pandemic. I don't give a fuck. They care about their careers at all.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you gonna do the contest still?" I was like, "I don't know. I guess." He's like, "You have to." I was like, "All right."
You have to.
All right.
Why do I have to? Well, if I do it, can I have it more brewery shows? No. All right. I'd like more brewery shows. Stop giving them Marty and Bowden, please. All right, anyway, so, but like, it's even those that contest stuff to me now. That contest, I'm hosting it on Sunday. That's my open mic now. There's no open mic, so I'm like, what are they gonna do? Fire me? Like, I won the thing. I'm grandfathered in. I'm one of the few guys from Connecticut. I'm, I think, the only guy from Connecticut who's ever won. So I'm the closest to getting there, besides Bowden, I think, because Rhode Island's pretty close, of getting to the place anyway. So I get to host a bunch of them. But when I go up, I'm working out all new shit because there's nowhere else to do it. There's no open mics around here. I think 1 or 2 people are trying to do it in their backyard. I'm not going to a backyard with 6 comics doing open mic. That's brutal. I'm not going to have a neighbor tell me to not work out a joke because it might seem racist to them. Because it is racist when you're in a backyard. It's social commentary when you're in a club. It's racist when you're in a backyard.
It does. It's definitely more racist in the backyard.
In the right setting, you're like, give the comic the opportunity and the trust to do what they can. But if not, I'm like, you can't just yell chink in a backyard. You can't.
On stage, it's a political commentary. In a garage, it's a race rally.
Yeah, it's a Hitler Youth rally. No. It's going to work out fine. I'm telling you. I know I'm wearing the mustache and doing the hand sign, but it's going to be a great bit. Trust me. Like, not in my grandma's backyard. We're not doing it. Grandma's was in the Holocaust. Like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Is the bit relatable at least? Does she get it?
Speaking of it's 9/11, make a wish.
Aw. I had Pat Dixon on, and we were talking about John Bonet for some reason. That just came up, and we're saying what? How do you think she really died? And he's like 9/11. He's like, there was one John Bonet, then there was a smaller one. If you saw it, it fell first, and then the other one. And I was like, yeah, inside the second one, Pete Davidson's dead. Like, holy shit, he was in there the whole time.
He was inside John Bonet Ramsey.
Yep, he was just hiding out. It's like that's what I've been doing now with my free time is trying to find out new things to make fun of that nobody like. You have to be an asshole to get offended. Like,
right.
For this will be now the 5th straight podcast I bring it up, and now I'm starting to write a thing about it. I can't stop talking about baby Jessica in the well and how I think it would have been better if she never got out. And I think that's the movie that needs to be made. If she never left,
so what if
her parents died and left the money to like some shitty uncle who turned it into a theme park where you go visit it and it becomes like the whole thing called Well Wishes. And I think it would have been great. And like a Mexican landscaper falls in love with her and he finds like a shaft that does make it to hers. They have a secret underground love, but she's afraid to come out and be in the world, but he wants her to be out there. It would be an amazing movie. And I'm sure the rights are cheap at this point. Then I found out she's only 32. And I'm like, oh shit. I don't know why I thought she was older, but she's only 32.
Huh.
Jessica McClure.
That's crazy that she's that young.
And I bring it up on stage once in a while, and people are like, whoa. I'm like, first of all, you have to be older than me to really remember it. So I love people get offended. Well, easy. Not my favorite well girl. Like, yeah, that's where I like to go after that now. I'm trying to find the things that you have to be an asshole to be offended by.
That's funny.
Baby Jessica, I do a lot of Ilian. Anytime I'm on a backyard stage, I say Ilian Gonzalez built this. This is how he got here. Like on those. And then so who gets it, gets it. And they're like, hey, easy. I'm like, oh, sorry, El Duque. Who's your favorite raft guy? I don't know. Like, who was your favorite?
El Duque.
He also rafted it up. Who are the top 5 Cuban rafties? It's fun to do that. But that's the thing, too. Audiences are getting offended by different things now. Like, I'm now having fun pushing that. Like, the other day on stage, I started doing a thing saying, at least now we can make fun of Chinese people again. And I got an applause break. I was like, whoa, it's a weird audience. Then I did it the next night, and then no one clapped. I'm like, okay, it just really depends on who they are. But it is weird because before all this, everybody was so afraid because the internet was telling us they were afraid of words. Then you go into a club, and the people that go to shows weren't those people. Those people were in front of computers, and they're afraid. They don't go out to shows. No, but they started to believe that.
That whole thing, though, it's like it can only happen if you allow it to happen. You know what I mean? Like if you're one of those people who like you said something, and then someone's like, I can't believe you said that, and you're like, well, I didn't. I'm sorry. I mean, it's like, yeah, they're gonna attack you. But if you're like one of those guys, like give me an example. Burr. He's like, I can't believe you said that. He's like, fuck you, I said it. Yeah. You're like, oh, I guess.
Like, I can't believe I didn't say it earlier, as he said.
I guess you can say it then.
Yeah. And that's what I'm doing, and the audience doesn't know what to do with it. It's been a nice little like cheat code. Is like I'll say something and go, it's okay because we're dying of COVID. And then they're like, like, yeah, I can do it now because we're all dying, because grandmas are dying, so I can make fun of the Jews now. It's okay because what's important now is that we have masks on. What's important is that if you made a top 20 things that happened in 2020, Kobe would be 21. That's important. Kobe wouldn't even make the top 20, and he died. But if
Kobe died of COVID.
a lot of people say that, I saw that picture. It's like, if COVID happened a month earlier, Kobe would still be here because he wouldn't allow to be in the helicopter. Like, why would you even go there? Like, his wife and kid are like, well, the live one. And they're like, oh God, why would you say that to me? We're gonna.
Yo, I couldn't send it, man. I wrote out this post and I couldn't post it because like people go nuts over Kobe for some reason.
Oh yeah.
But I wrote like because it was his birthday the other day, and I wrote it out. I was like, "R.I.P. Kobe, happy birthday," and then I was like, "My favorite memory of Kobe is when he got accused of rape, and then he paid off the girl to drop the charges, and then bought his wife an expensive apology gift, and then changed his jersey number so we'd all forgive him."
Yes. And Natasha always said, it's like, whoa, like 40 whatever was the rape. Like, it's like the other 8 was the good guy.
No, 8. I think 8's the rapist.
8's the rapist. Yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah, like I was talking about this on a podcast the other day. Same thing with Kobe. Like talk about the worst things to say. When those transcripts came out, supposedly that girl said that Kobe violently fucked her in the butt to the point of bleeding, and then afterwards made her kiss the dick and thank it. Thank you, Kobe's penis. That's my favorite Kobe memory. Oh, that and when he was selling Nutella to Italians. Yes. It's weird. You would think super rich athletes who've always been told they can do whatever they want would just be polite to people. Your whole life, since you're 14 years old, you've been told you're a god. Yeah, I'm shocked that they just hurt women. Of course they do. Stop telling them they're gods because they can dunk. That's the one thing we found out, that when people found out that actors and actresses are just stupid pieces of shit during this, I like that there's no one else is ever going to I trust George Clooney and what he thinks. It's like that won't be the thing anymore. So down the road, actors won't be able to become presidents anymore because of this. You're like, oh, they're all stupid.
Yo, I don't know, man. I think
Trump's going to be president again. I don't know how you feel about it, but like Joe Biden is not going to beat him with Kamala. It's just not going to happen.
No, he's going to be president for 3 more terms.
Yes. Well, it's going to be called Lord soon. It won't be president or Trump.
President till death. You
don't name a kid Barron unless he's going to be a lord. That is a lord's name, Lord Barron. He is ready to be knighted. Barron?
I was talking about it today with my buddies. We were talking about my buddy was like, "You don't think he's going to win again?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he's going to win again."
Landslide. How's a guy who sniffs people and you sniff folks? You did one of the most racist speeches ever with the corn pop thing. Like, you told some black people they weren't black. He's doing everything.
Well, that one I like. That's fun. He's like, "Yo, you ain't black if you don't like Biden."
You don't like Biden? You ain't black. It's like, what?
That's pretty funny.
You do that? No, listen. I enjoy it, but
I feel like the Democrats were like, "Oh, America likes creepy assholes. Let's nominate a creepy asshole."
But then even worse, it's like, okay, so when he said, "Don't worry, my vice president will be a woman of color," it's like, don't say that. Just nominate her. Why are you saying that's what pandering is? That's a weird move. And then when he does choose her, and then everyone's like, "Isn't it going to be great when she becomes president?" Because they all know she's just there so when he dies. Because if he did make it through a term, he's in his 80s. Like, so it's like there's no way he's going to do that. But like, if he does make it, women are like, "Thank God, finally our chance." But like everything else in life, women, you're hoping that an old white man dies so you get what you want. Like, it's not like the feminist dream. Hopefully that old white man takes me with them, and then when he died, like, it's the Anna Nicole Smith story all over again.
The Melania Trump story.
Yes, yeah. And you name me a blonde woman with no brain and an old man who's waiting to die, and you made it. And that's what it is. And listen, she's capable. She should be the vice president. If you're going to nominate someone out of all the people there, she's got the things behind her more than Pence did. But at the same time, There's
it's just
no
funny
way. No one's. At the end of the day, people are going to trust Biden.
it's just funny that the Democratic Party was like, "Oh, you guys are mad at cops? How about this cop?
Yeah.
Oh, nominate a cop.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a lady. It's lady cop. It's okay. It's a black lady cop. Or not,
it's a black
not all the way
lady
black. It's a Tiger Woods cop. She's sometimes we think she's Asian and we think she's black. We did it. I thought they were going to make Buttigieg wear blackface and go, we got a gay black guy. Like, okay, ooh, let's see, look at this. That would have been a good one.
a gay black.
I thought, the only way and I've said this before, the only way I thought they could beat Trump was with Michelle Obama.
Oh,
I thought that was the only thing you could do. You just say she's running because they've been the trust factor, the female factor, everything you wanted, the old Obama feel again, and you went that route. If you went that route, even if she was vice president, but I almost thought they should have had her run and not Biden for president. Like, if Trump can be the president without any experience, why couldn't a woman who's lived in the White House and done it and has, the first man as a president a lot of people trusted? Yes, he was very good at his version of real life Call of Duty and killing a lot of people with drones. But hey, if I had a drone, I'd kill folks. So you do what you do. It's like, they didn't have drones in Chicago. He was excited. He grew up a man without drones. Then he got a chance to play with drones and he killed people, and that's fine. All presidents kill people. That's what they do. But
yeah.
I don't even get political, but for anyone to think every president's a good guy, they're not good people.
They're all bad
people. If you
people.
want to run the world, you're an asshole.
All politicians, man.
Who wants that job? I'm in charge of the world. That's a crazy job. I don't even want to be in charge of anything. Like, people make jokes that I take charge of every show I'm on. Yeah, I do, because other people know what the fuck they're doing. But I don't want to be in charge of it. But I would never want to run a country. It's the thing. Listen, like we said at the beginning, no one knows how to deal with what we're dealing with. But imagine being judged every second of the way while you're trying to figure it out. That's insanity. No matter what Trump does, he was not going to get anyone on his side, and he's going to lose some people because this is an experience no one in the history of the world has ever dealt with. How do you deal with it? We don't even know what we're doing. There's new numbers all the time. It's crazy. And then Seinfeld's telling you New York's no good. It's like, easy, Jerry. Jerry should have ran for president.
But Jerry said it is good, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, it is good. It's good for Jerry. It is good.
Jerry.
It's not good for stand-up New York.
But even if, I don't know, this the whole thing, man.
It's the weirdest thing. But it's weirdly a comedian's dream. Because what's the one thing a comic wants? Relatable material. We're always worried about, will this person get it? How many young comics go, oh, there's old people there. They're not going to get my jokes. And when you get older, you're like, no, if I craft it right, if I structure it right, everyone should understand it. Even if they don't know the reference, the joke is strong enough where they don't need to know all that stuff.
Right.
But when we're making jokes about Kobe, the reason why a lot of comics went on Facebook that day to make a Kobe joke when he died is because everyone's going to get it. Yeah, they might not like it, but they're all going to understand it because this major name, this superstar, this icon died, so I can make fun of it because everyone gets it. When COVID's happening right now, everyone in the world understands. Whatever country you're from, whatever race you are, whatever gender you are, you understand this. So therefore, as a comic, I now have material. But now it's the test is, how do you not be hacked right away? Because the first month in, everybody was a hack. Because everybody was doing the same thing. How do you make it original? And my whole theory has just been, don't talk about what's happening with COVID. Talk about my perspective on how my life was and how it is now, and how I've changed and things like that, or how I adapt who I was to what it is now, and those funny things, because I don't want to talk about just the facts and that kind of thing, because we're tired of hearing that shit.
Yeah, that's I basically just restructured. So like a 5-minute chunk about my wife and like a couple of things about like whatever. I just basically restructured that. So like, instead of being like, our relationship is this, it's now that we're locked in together, our relationship is this. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just basically just reframed a bunch of shit.
That's the best. I was telling Darren Rivera?
Yeah.
I was telling Darren the first show I did back when I did for Ryan was an outdoor show, and he was like, I have all these jokes that was like, I'm going with ex-girlfriend to this thing. I was going. I mean, when I was dating her to this thing, but no one's going to believe that now because no one's going anywhere. And I go, but Darren, like saying you said, all you need to do is change the structure of the joke. The first thing you start with is, man, I know COVID's bad because I'm actually sitting at home and now wishing I could do the things I always hated. Like the memory, like I wish I can go apple picking with my girl or going to the Yankee Candle. But he's like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, it's the same joke. You're now just framing it like that. That's how you get into it. That's all you have to do. With me, because I'm a moron and I'm crazy like that, I'm like, no, I need to get rid of all my jokes. And I need to have all new shit. And that's what I've been doing and trying to write all new things or jokes I had not recorded yet on either album. And I was like, now I have time to work on those and make them work because there's really no timeline now because I have so much more time to work on them because I only get to do it once a week, whatever. And I'll just take my time. But the audiences they don't mind that you're stuttering a little bit and it's a little more raw because they understand too, for the most part.
Yeah, the hardest thing for me, I definitely like stumbled over some words, but the hardest thing for me was like when I first started, I had some like bad habits. Like I would get distracted easy, or I wouldn't be able to like look at the crowd. Like I would look over them too much, or I'd look down too much. And like those little habits, I noticed that like I have those problems now. Whereas like when I was getting up 100 times a month, I wasn't like I was not. I was very loose and free and like in the pocket.
Only thought was the goal you had that day. What am I working on? It wasn't like, all right, how's my stage presence? How's my delivery? It's like, can I remember what I'm gonna say? Like those are little things popping in, like with a lot of people, and I'm just like, I've been pretty good with it. There has been a couple of times I've walked off stage and said, shit, I wanted to work on this and this, and I didn't do that because usually I would just go right into a mode and I would know in my head, I could tell myself, after you tell this joke, try this new thing. Right? But now I've been kind of overthinking it and not been able to, the same thing. We're having too many of the old school thoughts, like the beginner's thoughts again, which I kind of like because it's also giving me a passion to write more because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like the younger me, so let me try to do that. But younger me had a mic every night to go to make those things better, and that's the hard part.
Yeah, my writing has suffered for sure. Like, I mean, if I've written 2 minutes worth of material this whole time, I think I'd be like.
How do you write? See, my process, I can't do it now because like I never start off by writing. I have an idea, I have to go on a stage, and I have to flush it out verbally, and I have to just work it out like that, and then I audio record it, listen to it, and then start writing off that, and then go back. Then the process goes. But for my mind, I can't just start to write it. I can just have a bullet point, but until I work it out verbally and record it, even though it's not gonna make any sense yet, I have to do that first to go, okay, this is how this felt, and then I can start writing.
I do that. I do what you do, but with the added step of loosely writing it first. So if I'll like come up with a premise and be like, oh, we're gonna talk about the keyboard being broken. What's some things with the keyboard? What can I map it over? I can map the keyboard over, the oven. You know what I mean? And like,
right.
Like, okay, so it's gonna be keyboard in the oven. Like, what are some things with the keyboard in the oven? And I'll just like do that. Then I'll go to a mic and I'll be like, keyboard broke.
Right.
It's like the oven. You can't put a key in an oven or whatever, like. And then I'll be like, this didn't work. This does work. This looks like it has legs. This doesn't have legs. Like, and then I'll do what you said, where it's like, record, listen back, rewrite, go out, re-record, re-listen, rewrite. But that first step is like.
Right. With me, usually all my ideas come from actual experience. Like I'll like be at the store and watch a guy do something dumb, and I'm like, oh, that guy did something dumb. Let me just tell the story the way I saw it, but then try to add things to it as I'm saying it out loud. But then watch people's reactions to how I tell it and what parts they're grabbing onto. Because like I'll think, oh, this part of the story is the part they care about, and then when I'm telling it, they care about another part. I'm like, okay, then let me focus on this part more, and that's when I start writing. And then my cheat is I need a punchline by the second time I do it. So I just go with similes from the beginning, and I don't always keep that, but I always go, okay, well, here's the story. that is like if this happened to this, like, and then I have that end until I can work on something better, and then I work on the details and find that punchline.
Right. So when I'm building a story, it's, like I will take a real story, but I'll start with a punchline. So like if I write a joke about a keyboard in an oven, then I'll go home and be like, that joke's really good. Like, what can I frame this in? And I'll think like, oh, one time I had a problem with the oven. What happened with that? What was that? And then, and then try to like build that story, using that punchline. So like, I had an experience where like I saw a guy pull a gun on an Albanian guy, and that's like there was like a strong punchline in that story, but the story like the punchline came from another line of jokes, and it was like, oh, that punchline works really well. Do I have a story for that? And then I was like, oh, I remember that one time with that Albanian guy. So then I was able to tell that story, and then that punchline now goes. Does that make sense? Like,
yes, no, it makes sense to you, me, and any comic listening. But someone's not a comic, they're like, what the hell is that? But no, I've many times found that when I start working on one thing, I'll work on one joke and then find in that work a punchline for another joke. I'll do that many times. I'll be like, I've been searching for, like, I just had one joke recently where everything was hitting except for the last part because it was a little, it was a little edgy, a little pushing the buttons, whatever. And I couldn't find that way to make them relax and let the joke happen. I needed that thing. And I was trying to think of another joke. I put in the back burner. And then I just kind of like rambled off something. I'm like, ooh, if I ramble off this, but like a little differently in the other joke, it could work that way. And it hit. It was like, it's about words. And I was saying like the word retarded and saying like, in the 80s you could say it, and it was like a describer, like it's cold out. How cold is it? It's retarded cold out. Like it was okay, but you can't say that now. So I was trying to think about it. And then one time I did a joke a while back about when I worked at Subway sandwich shop, and that thing in the back of Subway that holds the bread, the shelf thing, it's actually called a retarder. That's the real name of it. So I looked it up, and it's French, and it means not ready yet. And I'm like, who? So I grabbed it, and I'm like, that's why I said the word. When I call my friends retarded for getting high and walking through a screen door, I'm not calling them retarded. I'm just saying, you're not fucking ready yet. And all of a sudden the joke hit. Yeah. And it was like, now it's on the French. It's not, people are mad at the French for what they said. And then now all of a sudden the joke hit. And I was like, well, the second I thought of that old joke that I wasn't using, I'm like, oh, that makes sense here.
Yeah. So I do that. I do that quite a bit, where like I work out just, is this like a punchline? And like, can I just do like this one liner? Like, so if you catch me at an open mic, like at the beginning of the new process, because like every like couple of weeks it's start over,
Right.
So if you catch me at the beginning of the wave, the first open mic is just rattling off one-liners that I wrote at home, like keyboard oven joke, whatever, the Albanian joke, this thing about baseball, NBA bubble, refilling my water bottle, the computer being broken. And then I'll just have that list of one-liners or, jokes.
Right.
Tell those jokes, this worked, this didn't work, this does work, this could work, this needs work. And then where's the home for these? So then it's like either more writing where it's like, envelope, whatever, accordion out this bit, like, oh, what's some directions I can go with coasters? What are some coaster words? What are some, what are some uses for coasters? What are synonyms for coasters, antonyms of coasters? Like, you know what I mean? And like, oh, like more jokes. Or it's like, do I have a story where Kathleen stole that coaster from a friend's house? That's a funny story. Like, okay, so that story is going to incorporate this punchline. And then I have to write punchlines to that story, but I know that I have this anchor punchline.
Right.
It worked.
Which once you have that and you have that first beginning line, that's all you really need. Then you can really start doing the work. Yeah. I had one time where my mom dated this guy when I was a little kid, and he was paralyzed from the waist down, and his name was Dale. And for some reason, I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to make like a silly joke about it. And every time I talk about the punchline, it was mostly puns. I mean, that's kind of how I was going with it. And so I had 4 punchlines written. So I went to an open mic. I tried one. I was like, I can't tell. Went to another open mic, tried another one. So after 3 or 4 times of doing that, I went on stage one time and I just said, hey, I get this is going to be weird, but I'm working on, in the middle of my set, I'm working on this joke. I'm going to do 4 different punchlines. And I'm going to take your guys' reactions to see how it works. And I did all 4, and it hit. And afterwards, someone goes, I like the fact that you're pretending like you're letting us choose. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. And then I started doing the joke every time with all 4. I would do it, and they go, they kind of groan, and I go, oh, you didn't like that? Well, I hope you don't know, but my mom dated this guy named Dale, paralyzed no ways down. And I do it again, and the joke would end, and I go, another thing, my mom dated this guy named Dale, and I would just do it 4 fucking times. And the joke really started to hit. And then COVID happened, and I forgot all about the joke. And I went last week to go do it again, and I'm looking at Luke, the sound guy at comics, and I'm like, do you remember that joke? He goes, I remember 2 of them. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I remember a 3rd one, and I can't find any notes anywhere, and I can't find the 4th goddamn punchline. So now it's got me starting to write it again and writing even more. So I think I'm going to end up with 8 different punchlines in this horrific joke that really shouldn't be told anyway. But they start to laugh the more and more it's told because it's the ridiculousness of me just having 8 punchlines for it.
That's so funny.
Because I liked all of them. It was fun. So, like, why not keep them all? Because I brainstormed 8 or whatever, so why not just keep them all?
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't think Dale would like it, but I think he's dead. That's all right.
Dale's dead, for sure.
God, even if he's not going to – like, one of the lines I say is that, my mom broke up with him, and he was going to come over. We called her at work. Like, he's coming over. What do we do? She's like, it's okay. Just go upstairs.
Go upstairs.
And in the crowd, you watch them all go, oh, it's like, oh, that's a thinker for you? Is that the big one? My favorite line, actually, another comic gave it to me when she heard the joke, Nicole O'Clair. I was doing the joke. I was naming all this. I was saying he was going to propose to my mom, obviously not on bended knee. Like, every line was like that. And I said he had a job. He used to be on TV on Crippleodian. And she goes, what if he worked for AAA? And I'm like, oh, fuck you. Like, beautiful. And then like, he helps other people in their wheelchairs break down. He works for AAA. And you watch the audience want to get mad, but they laugh so hard at it. It was the best part of the joke.
I once had to roast a black guy in a wheelchair.
Like, in comedy?
Yeah.
All right.
And my favorite joke I've ever written is, his name was Wayne. I said, obviously, Wayne can't swim.
What was the reaction? Were they?
It was. Oh.
Yeah, they're like.
Some
people are like, well, yeah, because he's in a wheel.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, in my heart, I'm gonna say it's the wheelchair.
I was like, obviously Wayne can't swim, and everyone just was like, it took a second, and then the place erupted. I was like,
first of all, there's not many black guys named Wayne, and then for him to also be in a wheelchair, it's like that's a tough life for that Wayne. He was another comic. Did he have any comeback?
Another comic. I mean, yeah, he was amazing.
I was wondering if he was like, you can't swim either, you fat fuck. Like, you can just go right back.
He was like, I can float or something. He actually, Wayne's not his real last name, his real name. And he's got like a crazy story. Like, the reason he's in a wheelchair is he was breaking up a fight and he got shot in the back.
Oh, God. I hate that. I like when they're born that way.
Yeah.
It's better. They just never knew. I wouldn't want to know what certain things were and then not have them ever again.
Yeah, and apparently, like, he was like a really good, like, almost famous comedian. Like, he was going to be on Leno that week or in 6 weeks. And then he got paralyzed.
And Leno's like, I'm not putting that gross shit on my stage.
Well, I think I think it was more like he wasn't in the mental state to.
Right. I like to think that Leno was an asshole and wouldn't let cripples on. That's what I like to think. He's gonna run over all my Doritos. I think you get upset.
Really good. Leno.
I wouldn't. I take that back. The one thing I'd want if I ever went blind, I would definitely want to know what sight was first before being blind. I don't think I'd ever want to never know what things looked like. Someone blind from birth, I wouldn't want to not. I guess I say that because I can see. Because I guess if I never knew, then I wouldn't know what I was missing, I guess. But everyone's always talking about it.
I don't know. I
But
don't know, man.
I think I'd rather be blind than not be able to walk. If I had my choice. Even though being wheeled around would be cool. As
I
long as
don't.
my dick works, though. I don't want like the no dick.
Yeah, I don't think. Cause I read this thing. Um, uh, fucking. I think it's called "Girl Paralyzed" or "Life Paralyzed." Fuck.
Girl paralyzed.
22-year-old. I'm gonna try and Google it while I'm telling the story.
Girl paralyzed sounds like the sequel to iRobot.
So it's like, life paralyzed. Life paralyzed.
Her whole life was paralyzed.
Life.
Was it because the abortion went wrong?
No.
I want that story. Like a coat hanger missed, just popped a leg.
Life semicolon paralyzed. So
Her semicolon was paralyzed, not the whole colon.
This 24-year-old teacher, she was like, she was like just getting started in life. She just got like a good job, whatever. And she like jumped into a swimming pool and broke her neck.
Was there water in it?
Yeah, but like she jumped in the shallow end, or
they have that picture that says don't.
Or she hit maybe she slipped and hit the thing. Like it was just like a freak accident. Like it could have happened to anybody.
Imagine being a lifeguard that day. Like you've never had to do anything more than tell kids not to pee, and now you got to pull out Christopher Reeve. Like that's the worst.
It's the worst. But so she
paralyzed.
started a journal. She started a journal like
because she had a lot of free time now.
Yeah, talking about
no more dance class.
Yeah, talking about how badly she misses dance. Talking about like
I was going to be the next Michael Flatley, the Lord of the Dance.
She couldn't. She wanted to euthanize herself because she's like, yeah, I'm alive, but it's quality of life. Like I can't do anything. Like it's so humiliating having someone feed you and then also.
Oh, she didn't even have arms going.
Yo, she was nothing. Two moved her around.
Oh yeah.
Nothing.
Like a wheeling Shivo.
Yo, so people.
That's what it's known as.
Yeah, people had to feed her. People had to like wipe her, like all this stuff. So it was just like she was like, "This isn't."
How much do they pay you think for the wipe?
I don't know.
That's got to be more pay than regular stuff, right? The wiping.
I would think, yeah.
Because also, I mean, like they're feeding her mush, so it's not coming out solid. That's a tough wipe.
I don't know, man.
I don't think you even wipe that. You just hose down. Like she doesn't know. First of all, you don't have to wipe good. Who's looking at her butt? No one's looking at that butt. You could wipe. You could not do a good job wiping.
You could probably get away with a bad wipe. You
get away with a lot of bad wipes, as long as you're not stinking.
Maybe you don't even. Maybe you just get a colostomy bag at that point.
Or you hose it down and then you take like those car air fresheners, just throw them in her underwear if you missed anything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's like Pine Sol. New car smell.
I think if I was the caretaker, I would be like, hey, can we give her a colostomy bag so I just take it off the front?
Yeah. Well, then you're eliminating your job by machines. Like, and then once again, the computers win. Like, I don't want a colostomy bag taking over my job. You're the wiper. If you have a poop bag, then you don't need that guy. He just eliminated his own job.
No, she can't change the bag.
Yeah, but anyone can change the bag. You don't need skills to change a poop bag.
Skills to wipe a butt. You got to be willing to wipe
skills to wipe a butt. You need a pride, ego. Like my friend Frank, who is 79 years old, his 101-year-old father-in-law is living with them right now during all this in COVID, and he can't go into homes and stuff like that. So right now, Frank is 79, and supposed to be at the end of his life. He's wiping 101-year-old butts.
Oh.
Yep. That's what you do at the end of your day. He never had a kid, but now he's got a 101-year-old kid.
Nope.
Yep. Wiping his butt. And I'm sure Frank's not doing a good job. Frank doesn't wipe his own butt good. He's 79.
No. But I wouldn't want to live with that. I wouldn't want to live like fucking that 101-year-old guy.
I say that sometimes, like I'll be like, oh, that day I couldn't live, but like I don't know anyone who's died and said it was cool. So like I don't want to be dead. Like And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be a burden on anyone. Like if my kids had to like go financially bankrupt to keep me alive, then I'd feel awful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to be dead. Like I'm running every day so my coffin's lighter. That's all I'm trying to do.
How would you feel if the entire economy tanked so that they could keep you from getting COVID?
I'm good then. I'm good. I would like that if that I got paralyzed and I had all my organs fail and all that. But when I was about to die, they're like, he died of COVID. I'm like, I didn't die of COVID. I dove into the pool.
Like as you're dying, like it wasn't COVID.
It wasn't COVID. Nope. I'm good. Not COVID at all. How did she write the journal?
I'm gonna say
she write a journal.
I'm gonna say she dictated it to someone.
Yeah, I'm guessing they changed a lot of it.
Because the reason the journal got out is like on the 10-year anniversary or the 5-year anniversary, someone started to daily blog her daily journal entries.
What a fucking... I hate people wanting likes so bad. They're like, I'm just going to do this lady's thing. That's not... Get your own thing, asshole. Don't be paralyzed girl's fucking person. Don't be a fake Twitter handle.
I will say that it was incredible reading it in real time. And that's how I found it, I found it in real time.
What were you really searching when you found that?
No,
porn?
Yeah, I was looking for cripple porn. No, someone, I think because I was researching, I don't want to say the dates and be wrong, but I think it was because I was researching a wheelchair joke.
Yeah, that's where I find most things. I'll look for like awful. I'm like, oh, I know this fun fact. People are like, how do you know that fact? I'm like, you don't want to know. It's comedy research.
Because I had a joke about actually it's a joke I sold this joke.
Ooh.
Someone bought this
to
joke.
Wayne?
What?
To Wayne?
No, to like this guy who does corporate events. He offered me like $150 for the joke, and I was like, yeah, take it.
Here you go, tugboat. Okay.
What?
No. I was saying tugboat, but
but it was a joke about like my doctor being in a wheelchair.
Oh no! Oh God, I wouldn't trust. You can't even fix you.
Yeah, I was like, what my thing was. The joke was because I had like I had like a pinched nerve in my leg, like I like my leg was numb, but I can't go to the doctor. I can't be like, hey doc, my leg's numb. He's like, yeah, mine too. You're fine.
You're fine.
And then like I had like a series of tags, like does it hurt? I'm like, no, it there's a pain when I walk. He's like, could you describe it? Not the pain, walking. What's walking like? Like, does it hurt when you frolic? Get the hell out of my office.
It's like, what if I skedaddle? How does that feel? Is it good?
Skedaddle.
Who's your favorite? Okay, you're paralyzed Mount Rushmore.
Oh Jesus!
Who's on it? Right?
Hawking's got to be up there.
Hawking's definitely on there. Christopher Reeve.
No, why? What did he do?
He was Superman.
Yeah, but when he was walking.
No.
Make him Superman when he's crippled.
I guess I didn't realize that was the rule. They're on there for what they did while they were paralyzed. I just meant because Mike Utley was going to be on there for me.
Who?
The guy from the Detroit Lions. Remember years ago, he did the thumbs up. Like it was a big, even a football fan. He got paralyzed on TV like at Thanksgiving, and he's laid out, he's all paralyzed, and then he did this, and his whole thing became thumbs up. But they said later, like he didn't even know he was doing that. Like his thumb just went up. If you say it's got to be when they were paralyzed, it's just which president was it? Was it Roosevelt? Who was?
Yeah.
So it's him.
Stephen Hawking, Franklin Roosevelt. He was in a wheelchair for a while.
Dr. Charles Xavier.
And Hector Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, and that's your top 4 of all times. See, you made it so I couldn't use. I thought we could use them when they were like Reeves. He did some stuff, right? Did he do speeches and stuff? He's like,
no, it's got to be the dude. Comparing Christopher Reeves to Stephen Hawking.
I enjoyed Reeves' work way more, to be honest with you.
But Reeves was fine when he did that work.
He was not a good Superman, but he was a better Superman than Hawking was a regular guy.
Yeah, because
he was.
I can't. I can't. I have a prohibitor in my brain that won't let me go further.
Let it go. Let it go.
I can't.
Stephen Hawking also had a perimeter in his brain. Let him talk. Rah, rah, rah.
This prohibitor wasn't in his brain.
Whatever the fuck he put it. The only thing he had left was his dumb, dopey brain. He wasn't even probably that smart. They're just like, let him talk. He's so crippled. Let him do his thing. We'll just pretend like we believe it.
Nah, he was smart. They have proof.
Yeah, I know, but like, but you wouldn't have listened to him if he was just regular style.
Yo, how dumb do you have to be like, nah, he was smart. They have proof.
Yo, they got proof of smart. You don't think Einstein was smart? Why do you think you call smart guys Einstein? Einstein,
hey, he's obviously smart.
He's real smart.
Wicked smart.
You know relativity? Like, what? You know it. I think he wrote Relativity. He wrote it. It was a song with him and R. Kelly. It was a good song.
And R. Kelly.
He's my Mount Rushmore of people peeing on people, but not he made them. If I put this on Twitter, but if Pee Wee Herman got caught in 2020, he'd be running for Democratic vice president. Because they would be like, he's so proud and so brave. Look what he did.
Who's my Mount Rushmore of peeing on people?
So I don't know if there's even 4 that I know of. I think I just know R. Kelly. Who else pees on people? I mean, I know that Stallone like poop. He like that Cleveland steamer thing.
Really?
He would lay under it, the glass table, and then he like a girl. I think Angie Everhart did it, and she would like squat over and then poop, and then the steam hit the table. He liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know you like that?
I'm not into poop.
What if a dog? Is it because he was a little kid and a dog like pooped on the table? He's like, that's pretty cool. Maybe I can get ladies.
Get an erection from that.
I better start writing Rocky so I can get women to do this. I actually watched one of your reviews lately on YouTube. What I love about your reviews is that they are not reviews, and I love them. Like it starts off as a review, but then I love just like it's just you, like we did this show. It's like, oh, I'm talking about this, then this, then that, and then just the little pictures pop up, and it's just I enjoy it thoroughly. And the way you edit it. The one I watched was the one with Kevin Bacon from the white.
6 years of separation.
Yes. And then at one point when you're trying to think of that woman's name, and you just go, I was cracking up. I'm like, I hope this goes longer. And it kept going longer. And the longer it went, the more I fucking laughed. I was like, the timing on this is beautiful. Because most people would have edited that out. And I love that you didn't, because most assholes do that for real. Most of these guys aren't good at it. And they try to do that. They cut it down to 2 minutes when it was 20 minutes of awfulness. And they shouldn't be doing it. It's brilliant in how you're doing. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Are you doing more of those now with time?
I actually am cutting back now. So at the beginning of it, I was doing like 2 or 3 a week. But now I'm going to go back to 1 a week just because like it's just too much work. It's just so much. Yeah. It's so much.
You can tell there's a lot of work into it. I mean, there's literally every reference you say, there's a picture. Like, yes. I was looking, going, holy shit, and you found the perfect picture too, which means you're not just thinking of the first thing. There's so many goddamn references that it's almost like when I watch Andrew Schultz, by the way, what him and Tim Dillon have been doing during this fucking the whole time, they are superstars. When you look back and see who became stars in this, those two have owned this quarantine. Like, and it's been crazy, but like. You even had more pictures and things pop up than fucking Schultz has with his stuff. It was great.
But that's like I'm good at Photoshop and stuff, and I'm good at like photo manipulation. So like I like that part. Like I like bringing that element to the thing. You know what I mean? Like so in the newer ones, like I got a green screen. So in the newer ones, it's like the full frame is behind me. So. But that became so much work because then it's like sourcing finding the material, then like manipulating it to work, and it's like some of the things where it's like, you know.
Then you're like, shit, I gotta watch the movie. I know people that do those. I'm like, do you watch that movie? They're like, no. Like, yeah, I just Googled it. I'm like, you asshole.
Yeah, like, so I watch the movie, and then I get, like, inspired by, like, there's got to be something, right? So it's like, oh, that dude is the dude from the other thing.
Right.
And then that's what I fixate on. And then the whole.
But when you had Kevin Bacon and Sean Astin, and, like, And just when I like it too, when you're naming it, you're literally like, 'cause that's the way I would have named it. It would have been like Rudy, Lord of the Rings, the other Lord of the Rings, this movie, Stranger Things,
The
shit.
thing,
What's
the
that?
thing where he's that guy, the one
That
where
makes
he's
it
that
more fun.
guy.
That's what you would do before Google. When you would just hang out with friends and you had that one friend that knew the references, you're like, who's the guy that played the guy who molested Dudley in Different Strokes? He's like, Gordon Jump. It's like, yeah, from WKRP. Yeah, it's the same guy. You're like, holy shit, how do you know that? Like, I just know these things.
But I wouldn't know his name, right? I would go, it was the guy, the guy from WKRP, not Les Nessman,
Right.
not
Not Venus Flytrap. No, not him.
other guy.
Not the girl with big tits who wasn't Dolly Parton. And I'm not sure who she was. I think she was in Burt Reynolds movies. I'm not sure.
Lonnie Anderson.
Yes. Right. You would go that route, and you'd be like, baby, if you ever wondered whatever became of, that show, that movie, that TV show.
WKRP.
Yep. And you're like, yeah, the boss guy. Okay. Yeah, he molested Dudley.
There's one or two reviews where like the person I'm talking about is in a TV show I really like. So then for like literally 4 minutes, I'm talking about the TV show.
Yeah.
And I'm like all the stars of that TV show and what they went on to do. And it's like never about the movie.
Oh, I'll do that when someone's telling me about a movie and I know a guy from a show. I'll call him the name from the show the entire time.
So the first review I did was Midsommar.
All right.
And so the whole movie, I'm calling him Cheaty. I'm calling the other guy, the guy from the Maze Runner. I just go, the guy from the Maze Runner and Cheaty. And then I kept going, not Chris Pratt. I was like, not Chris Pratt.
That's who it is. It's definitely not Chris Pratt.
It's not Chris Pratt.
Not Chris Pratt at all. I always call the guy that was that played Captain Kirk in the Star Trek movies not Chris Pratt. That's Chris Pine.
He's
right?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, yeah. But I always go not Chris Pratt.
I would probably call him not Chris Evans.
Oh, yeah. Neither one of them are Chris Evans at all.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, and I see him in every, like when someone's like, oh, watch that, what was that fucking terrible train movie? It was on Netflix. It's a movie where it's Chris Evans and it's on a train, but like everyone's like a slave on the train. They got to move up. Then
Snowpiercer?
Yeah, Snowpiercer. I was always like, yeah, Captain America is battling all these people. Have you ever seen the thing? E-Rock turned me onto this. The thing where somebody says like in a fan fiction thing that Snowpiercer is a continuation of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes, I've heard that.
When you watch the video, it was the only thing that made me go back and watch it, which I hated Snowpiercer, and then I watched it and somewhat enjoyed it, thinking it was parts of Willy Wonka.
What about the theory that the guy from Saw, Jigsaw, is Kevin McAllister?
Oh, I've never heard that. And now he's grown up and he's doing the pranks on everyone?
Yo.
I didn't really I never saw Home Alone all the way through. I don't really like Saw, but I would watch all of them if I thought that was a thing.
I'm gonna text you or email you a
Yeah, I will watch that. Any of those things that make me that say I like those people are like, yo, what if this guy's this guy? Because when I was growing up, that's what you did. Like when I was watching Wonder Years, everyone's like, later on in life, they're like, remember the kid Paul from the Wonder Years? He's Marilyn Manson now. And I'm like, he is, and he wasn't. But everybody just thought he was. And it's like, the kid from Small Wonder, the boy. He's Billy Corgan, and he wasn't Billy Corgan. It's like when people just say, what? But they would always just say these child actors ended up being these weird singers.
What about the theory? This is my favorite theory, and this me and my buddy started to write a movie, like a dark version of this theory, is that the Flintstones takes place after the Jetsons.
Oh shit. So like the world imploded
Simultaneously. Or possibly simultaneously.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Because like if you think about it, they have like modern technology, but it's mutants doing that stuff. Like they have a phonograph player, but it's a mutated bird.
Yeah.
They have a vacuum cleaner, but it's a mutated elephant.
Yeah, it's weird what they really I don't think PETA was back then, because like they really fucked with all the they were really abusing those animals,
Yeah.
really abusing them. Like they used a dinosaur as a plow and as a crane.
Yeah.
You just rode it and you just smashed its head into rocks, but then you also kept one as a dog. It was real weird. That's kind of like the whole thing with how come Goofy was a dog but wore pants and could fuck, and then Pluto was a regular dog and had to walk around and be a dog.
Goofy's a cow.
No, Goofy was a dog.
Yo, check out Goof Troop.
But I thought Goofy fucked the cow. First of all, I've never been told by another grown man to go check out Goof Troop, but I'm excited that I was. Yo, go check out Goof Troop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Not checking out the Goof Troop?
Goof Troop? Who's not watching Goof Troop?
You're not checking out Goof Troop?
Obviously, in Goof Troop.
I thought he was always a dog. Now he's a cow? I know he fucked the cow.
He's a cow.
I think he's a dog.
Dog doesn't talk. Goofy talks.
He doesn't look like a cow.
Kind of looks like a cow.
Looks like a dog. He's got a dog face.
I'm pretty sure is Goofy a cow. That reminds me of one of my favorite street jokes. The Mickey and Minnie getting a divorce. You know that joke?
No, I don't.
So Mickey and Minnie are getting a divorce, and the judge says, "Okay, I grant you the divorce on accounts that Minnie's insane." And Mickey goes, "I didn't say she was insane. I said she was fucking goofy."
Oh. That's a joke I told my kids. They're old now, but they would still laugh their ass off at that. 18, 15, she's fucking goofy. And my son would go, oh. He would kind of get it and then wait a second and do a Beavis and Butthead laugh over it. Is he a cow?
So fucking Snopes is an asshole.
Yeah.
Snopes goes, is Disney's Goofy character actually a cow? And then while some might argue Goofy is a cow and not a dog, the popular character can most accurately be described as a cartoon. Fuck you, Snopes. Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So because he has a crush on Clarabelle the cow.
Right, but yes, in that world, usually it's very segregated. You fuck what you are.
I mean, we should all be striving towards that.
It would listen. I know that we thought it was a good idea, but look what's happened.
Look what's going on.
Look what the fuck's happened. It's all too much. Let's all go back to our original. If this is a board of risk, let's all go back to our original country and not invade anything for a while and just start over. And the Native Americans will have plenty of room since there's 7 of them. They can have this back. Neil, where can people follow you, see you, all that stuff? Thank you for doing this, by the way.
Oh, dude, thanks for having me, man. NeilRubenstein.com is the hub, but YouTube, Neil Rubenstein Reviews It, is my reviews and such. And Instagram at Neil Rubenstein is my memes. My constant memes.
You need constant memes in this world. It used to be fortune cookies. Now it's constant memes. That's what we do.
I've become a meme lord.
Remember when there was only 5 people I got quoted? Now it's just like all these philosophers are like, what the fuck? Now my quote's next to a girl with big tits doing a duck face. Like, what happened to my quote? And thank you so much for doing it. I really appreciate it.
Yo, thanks for having me. I just messaged you I
just saw that, and that's going to be my watching of tonight. I'm going to be checking that out, definitely. Thanks, man.
All right, be good, buddy. Thank you so much.